it's Louise with louisemckayart, and welcome to my channel. And I am making coasters for Christmas presents. Yeah, but don't tell anybody. This is for a friend of mine. Shh. And I'm going to get started with my Glidden. First of all, I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate it, because I know, especially probably when I'm releasing this the season time, people are busy and you have many other things to do besides watch a video on creating coasters, but that's what we're here to do today. We're here to create coasters using acrylic paint and house paint and the bloom recipe. And I'm near the end of my Glidden, so I'm just, this batch anyway. I'm trying to be very careful with how I use it all up, because I don't want any little chunks to get in the bottom there. So I still have enough for another coaster, it looks like. All right, so these colors are mixed with my old pouring medium, the old trusty Valspar A33124 and semi-gloss MinWax. And if you want to see a really good video on my pouring medium, you can watch video 140. Now in that video, just so you know, I'm using a Glidden that is 6413N. If you just replace that with this Valspar, it's the same thing. I just prefer Valspar because I've just gotten used to working with it, but the Glidden works perfectly fine. But I've been sticking to this one. So that video was made 2.5 years ago. So that's when I was first learning all this. All right, so this is my Golden's Pale Titan Green. So my pillow, I usually go for about a 4-second trace when I pour it off the stick. Trace meaning what's left when you pour it out, and the little ridge that's left from the paint pouring in, that's the trace. On the paints, I go for about a 2 to 3 second trace. As you see it disappear back into the paint bin. I'm only putting a tiny bit of this down, because that Pale Titan Green, that is a powerful color. Powerful. That bad boy would take over everything if I let it. So I just need to put a dab down. That's actually too much. This is my Amsterdam's Sky Blue Light. You've been seeing me use this a lot lately because it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. And I'm going to put a little more in there. The first one came out perfect. It was one of those situations where when I first blew it out, I was like, oh, you know, dread. And it was one of those that you had to give it time, and you had to let it spin out to have it all develop and show you what its beauty was going to be. It took its time, but boy, I tell you what, the end, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I did not pour over this. Because what showed up to start with was a lot of that Pale Titan Green, and I only wanted it to be a hint. So speaking of the colors, this here is Treasure Gold's Blue Quartz and Creative Inspirations Payne's Gray, and I'm just trying to use up the Creative Inspirations Payne's Gray. It was a color I had from back in January. This is my usual gold combo, 24 karat gold by Deco Art and Golden's Iridescent Gold. This color combination, these two colors together, it's like you get two colors in one. So you get the best of both colors. You almost get an extra color down, and it's a beautiful color. TLPC glass. Now here's one of these rare cases where I'm only using the TLP alone on its own. I'm not mixed this with anything else. And actually, what I did differently on this one, in fact, I did a few things differently. This is not the exact same recipe as the other. This was started out with Josanya Josanya gloss varnish as a moistener for the sea glass. I put in about 2 good-sized scoops at the end of this with the varnish and then I put in bare 8300, which I still have, mixed it up. It was too thick, so I added some of my regular Valspar. So this color is a concoction of pouring mediums. However, the point is, with your pouring mediums, it just has to be a base C or base 3 gloss or semi-gloss paint mixed with some varnish. Or actually, some people are doing it without mixing it with varnish at all. I like the varnish because it thins it down some. That's the sea glass. This is Golden's Payne's Gray. Only Golden, just the Golden. And I love this color because it's a gray. It's a deep, deep blue on the gray side. Now, some Payne's Grays are very gray. This is Payne's Gray is a blue gray. All right, we're going to go with that. Now, my American Floetrol cell activator. This is my batch I made on 11/2, which was, well, today's the 22nd. 22nd? 23rd. I don't know. It's Monday. So it's about 3 weeks old. This is the titanium white and oxide black. We're going to lay it down. You should start to see a halo. Once I lay it down, I'm going to blow straight down into it to get it to form a circle of sorts. And where I see the ridge, where the divot forms from blowing down, I'm going to blow it out from there. Here we go. I'm linking above video 141, which is my American Floetrol cell activator, if you want to see how I make it. Here we go. Now, as I blow this out, I'm blowing straight down into the cell activator to get it to form as much of a full circle as possible. And where I see the ridge form, I've already talked about this, where I see that ridge form, I'm going to aim my blow right at the ridge and blow out the composition in all directions. If you have trouble with the blow, I have a video 419, I'll link it above, that shows you how, first of all, to find your blow in the first place. It's a little cheat. And I also talk about how your speed and angle affect the way your composition blows out. I knew I went a little heavy-handed on the cell activator. And while I'm blowing down on the cell activator here, I just want to direct your attention to my description at the end of the video. Check out my description for links to some of the products I use and also some of the more educational type tutorials I'm offering, to include the ones I've already talked about here. When my cell activator doesn't come back very quickly, like this is not, that means I went too much. I had too much, and you saw how little I put in there. But what happens is, when you blow it into the cell activator, it spreads it out, and it helps the colors underneath push through. And then also what happens when I spin this out, it's going to spread the paint out, and as the paint spreads out, the colors underneath are going to push through the black and white cell activator. So you just sometimes have to give it a little time to do what it's going to do. Yeah, even with that little, see, I went heavy-handed on the green. Even with that little bit, I need to lighten it up a little bit. I just wanted to have the idea of green, because I don't want that green to compete with the sea glass, which is a different tone. The sea glass is a very blue-green, and this is like a gray-green. And they kind of don't necessarily go together. I mean, look at that. They're very different. I don't know what that is. The tone, the hue. Unfortunately, I'm not a trained schooled artist. I'm just self-taught on YouTube with YouTube videos. Yeah. So I don't have all the jargon. I probably should do some research. But look how the cells have come back in the middle. Or the cells developed, I should say. Okay, let's give it a spin. See where this goes. It's gorgeous. This one's a little darker than the other one, but I have more color in it too. So you can adjust how your coaster is based on how much color you put down. But most importantly, you don't want to put down too much pillow, because if you do, you got to spin it out. And what's going to happen is all of your, if you have a great blowout, you're going to blow it all right off with a spin. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is a new color palette. These are colors I've never worked together in this exact way. Oh my gosh. Remember I've said in a prior video, take a moment to just enjoy your creation. Oh, it's just beautiful. That sea glass is just kind of a below the surface accent. Let's give it another spin. I'm collecting all my paint over here for my ornament pillow when I get ready to do more ornaments, which I may not do anymore this year because we're already Thanksgiving week. I don't like to waste my paint. Oh my gosh. This is gorgeous. Make sure my ends are covered, my corners I mean. The corners are the last thing to spin off because they are the farthest from the center. This is a really cool little dynamic going on there. A little solid color just to add a little dimension. I don't necessarily like having cells everywhere. I like to have the lacing and how it blows out and differences in the whole appearance of the coaster. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Got a white spot I'm going to go after here. I go after the white spot by just hitting it with a little toothpick. Just a touch. Just push into it. Just kiss it. Hopefully that'll go off the edge. Need to spin that again. I don't like the way that turned out. I'm going to spin it off. And then I think we're going to call this done. A little longer of a creation, but boy. Yeah, it spun off. Oh my gosh. Got an air bubble right there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll give it a pop. And there's green inside, which is really good. Gotta clean the bottoms. You always want to clean the bottoms before you put it to bed. I'm just gonna clean the corners real quick so I can pick it up and show you guys. But this is a dynamic, very cool color palette. Here we go. Look at this. Oh. All right. I'll be back with the final results. I'll let this dry about 7 to 10 days, and then we'll resin it up, and voila, it'll be finished. So before I show you the final results, I'm going to do a shameless plug for my all-in-one private coaster tutorial. I start out by covering some Bloom foundational principles, and then I go over how I mix my pouring medium in front of you. I talk about the paints. I show you mixing the paints, the consistency I'm looking for, and then I show you exactly how I mix my cell activator up in front of you, key points to look for, and the consistency. And then I go into the resin prep, how to prep your resin table, how to prep your coasters. And then I talk about mixing your resin and then how to apply the resin to the coasters, how much you need, and then the tips and tricks of how to get a fine, no bubble finish on your coasters. I walk you through the day after resin, where I show you how to best clean your coasters up. And then I show you exactly how I finish all of them off to include corking the back, the stamps I use, and all that good stuff. It's an hour-long tutorial. Everything's included, and just email me. My email is in the description. So everyone, that's a wrap, and here are the wet results of all the 4 coasters in this color palette, and these turned out absolutely gorgeous, and my friend loves these. And as usual, here are the final resin results, so you see that what we created in the first place ended up perfectly fine in the end. So if you're new here, I ask that you please join me by subscribing, hitting the bell and all. You'll get all my latest art tutorials. Also, everyone, please leave a comment and a thumbs up. And if you can hype the video, I'd really appreciate that as well. And if you are interested in that private full-on tutorial, please email me. My email is in the description. So with that, everyone, that's all I have for now. And take care. Till next time.